for us to spoil everything. It's time for us to talk about this movie right here. It's here. It's been talked about in the comments. I hear you. I see you. And it's time. I'm going to go ahead and keep it a bean. We finna spoil everything. I'm not holding nothing back.
Spoiling everything.
I ain't holding back squat. If you ain't seen the movie and you want to
Leave.
be surprised by everything, I want you not to leave because I'm about to make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you appreciate everything that you've been seeing, from this wonderful platform. We appreciate y'all. No matter where you're watching it, like, comment, subscribe, of course, to Make It Make 60 Podcast channel. Because it is time to spoil all this. Bad Boys Ride or Die. Look,
No,
this might
the
be a bit of a
spoilers. Let's go.
controversial topic. Yeah, I'm gonna spoil the Hollywood, so otherwise, it might be a bit of a controversial topic. I think this is the best Bad Boys they've done by far. I think by far this is the best one. I ain't even gonna hold nothing back from it. Like I do think two is really good, but this one has given the sense of connection to previous movies that three just didn't do, and two had some of as well. But this one actually connects stuff and sort of goes back to some of the earlier things in the movies that I enjoyed. I really do. Just keeping it in. I think it's by far the best one. I mean, lots of things. First off, let me just give a shout out to the MVP of the movie. And this is not a joke,
Reggie.
not a game.
Yes, Reggie.
Not a game.
Reggie
This
did his
man
thing.
right here has come so far from where
Reggie
he
Wick. Reggie
when I
Wick.
tell you, Pepe, this scene right. When I tell you, Reggie has come.
That's why I
such
popped
a
it.
long
I told
way.
you I popped right here.
He's come such a long way. Started from the bottom. Reggie might got the best scene in the movie. I ain't gonna hold you. Reggie,
Easily.
he got the best scene in the entire movie. I mean, he got a couple of scenes that might be the best scene in the movie. He came a long way from
This
being
scene was
mean
crazy.
to busting down double-digit people storming in on the house. My buddy needed
15.
one word. My brother needed one word. Hey, yo, you got people coming. Get them out the house. That's all you had to tell Reggie. He's like, I bet this Call of Duty skills finna come in contact real soon. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. But it was
came from war. Just came from war in Yemen with the Marines. Shout out to
boy.
You ain't got no job. You just sit up here eating up all my snacks.
I'm glad Unico brought up Martin Lawrence. So let me.
So my question:
the funniness that Martin
Lawrence. Wait, Chris got a question.
Huh?
Hollywood got a question.
So is he? So he Reggie Wick now? That's what we saying?
Yes,
he's Reggie Wick.
Reggie Wick is okay.
He really is.
That passes.
Wait.
That passes. 15 people.
We showed the
15
scene.
people.
We showed the scene right there when he's in the scene. He's doing it. Hollywood, since you here, you already got the spoiler. They did it. They did the scene. Hollywood at the end when you can show the picture. With this scene, they did it. Martin them was behind talking to each other, and he walked up. And he said, Can I cook permission to cook my chicken on the grill?
Sir. And he stood there.
And they said,
no.
You see this? You think, who do you think he is? He gonna run on our grill? He gonna do this? And then they did a little threatening thing they did like they did in the other movie.
Fan service.
And then they
did a lot of fan service in this movie, which is what I really enjoyed. I can just think of 3 or 4 off the top of my head where like things that you had, like I was telling my family because I went as like a group, and like this, how they basically reenacted the scene where they grill him for prom. And, they reenact the scene where, well, basically they flip it where this time Marcus saves Mike instead of Mike saving Marcus in the street. And then they get up all slow and they have that roundabout shot. And another one that a lot of people probably don't notice is the scene where he's like wearing a purplish, pinkish, like iridescent shirt. And it is supposed to be like fan service to when he wears that like really gaudy purple suit. It's like it's made out of the same material. And so there was just so many little intricate details that they put into this that I really appreciated just for fan service alone. And I kind of like that outside of the son, they didn't really focus the son and a little bit of the like his mom. They didn't really focus too much on the last movie. And I'm glad about that because as I said, when we've talked about Bad Boys, that was my least favorite Bad Boy movie. I hated the Bruja storyline. And so I haven't watched it again since watching it the first time in theaters. So I was glad that they connected it to the other two movies more than this, because I felt like that would have made it a little bit more convoluted. I felt like they went back to their roots. The reason why we fell in love with Bad Boys 1 and 2, which was like pure cop work, being cops and being friends and being black. There we go.
They did give McGrath a little bit from 3, because if you remember the scene when he pulled off the fingernail, that's from 3. And when he was in the house.
About the torture.
So McGrath had a lot of callbacks from 3. But like I said, Reggie at the end, Hollywood, they did it and they looked at him and they said, I ain't telling them nothing. Then Mike
stood there. He stood there.
And Mike said he got a little look in his eye. I'm gonna cook the potato salad and I'm gonna set the dressing. You got the grill.
They said, hey man, that man put down 15 people. I'm not gonna
15
tell him nothing.
15
people.
I ain't tell him a thing.
We all watched it. We watched it.
Like, it was good.
Like, we're not telling. I give 15 so much
bodies.
Yes,
15 bodies.
His
loved ones are in the closet.
And he was
just his loved ones in the closet.
Mm-hmm. He a new equalizer.
Man,
for real, that's what it was.
Like, I was like, oh wait a minute. Like, I give so much props to them, and then we're like Reggie's 1. The humor is 2, because to me, Martin Lawrence hadn't been this funny in the Bad Boys series in probably like 2 movies. Like I enjoyed the funniness because they just had him be tripping for the entirety of the movie, and he was just tripping balls, and it was hilarious. Like they made it work. Like he was like the part of the movie that wasn't. Like they made him like Martin Lawrence. You're gonna be the reason that these people remember that this is a movie and not all serious, because we know Mike Lowry, he had serious stuff going on the entirety of the movie. But they made it where you are the unfun. You are the, like the CGI. What I like about this? The CGI in the beginning of the movie where this man went and had a whole near-death experience was just amazingly hilarious to me. Like that, it was so extra.
That almost turned me off though. Like when I saw that, I was like, "Here we go." I was like, "This is about to be some Fast and the Furious, like bringing random shit in here that don't make sense." Because that's what I didn't like about the Brewhouse stuff. I was like, "Where is this fucking coming from?" I was like, "I feel like we're in a different genre." And so when I saw that, I said, "I know that this is not happening," but I know that people do have near-death experiences because I've had one myself and stuff, and how that works and stuff. But at first I was like, I know this nigga don't know the future now. I was like, why is he seeing the apes? I was like, why is he seeing how the universe was created? But as it played on, like it worked. And I think that they realized that one of the funniest times that we had of Martin Lawrence was when he was tripping on the X and he was just like saying and doing anything. So I felt like they decided to do that in a more realistic way, but it was hilarious to watch. Like this man, like I get why he's going on tour again, because he proved again that he was still really funny. Who did his head like that? That has to be Photoshop. His face is this has to be Photoshop. There's no way that this is. Just watch this movie today. There ain't no way this either that or they put his head on the wrong stunt double's body, because this does not make sense.
Log off.
Eminem, I'm telling you, did you see his face when he looked in that grill? That head was big.
Oh, let me tell you my favorite part about this movie outside of Reggie though. There is a portion of the movie.
Before you do this, because we want to take you seriously, there's Butterfinger right next to your face on the screen.
Oh,
stop that.
Which is hilarious.
Okay, let's go. Okay, let's go.
Is the fact that it's something that I loved when it's my favorite part of why I love the movie Doom. And the fact that they decided to go in like a first person shooter visual shot. I loved that because even though, and I still believe that Doom is underrated because it was ahead of its time, because we had never seen that done in movies up until then. And you still don't see it. And so I really like that, as well as you could tell that they did a lot of drone shots, like how they were moving the camera. There was a lot of aerial type shots that you could tell was done by a drone, but it still looked really good and really clean to where you weren't like, well, what am I missing? There was a lot of fights where you were seeing every aspect of what was going on in the room. You were seeing Marcus fight. You were seeing Mike fight. You were seeing the other two agents fight. You were seeing them try and get away and stuff like that. And so I really liked that. I thought that was done really well. The cinematography on it was really good, because I'm always worried about older movies coming back and then them trying to stick with the times of CGI and special effects, I always think that it's going to look like some of these, and it's hard to keep up because with the budget, like I just watched a music video not too long ago from Ronnie Radke, and when I tell you that nigga has a whole fucking like his own cinematic universe, the way these videos are shot are insane. And I'm like, what type of budget do you have? Because I've seen movies in the past 10 years that have less or worse CGI than this. So I was worried because they're trying to do so much, but it didn't give off like Fast and the Furious. It seemed all realistic. Like it made sense. Beverly Hills Cop 4 better be good. Well, I hope so.
Like you said, it's a bunch of these older type movies coming back for new sequels, and so with these time skips, we're gonna see how that goes. We do have Unico Williams. What was your favorite part of the movie? Since we're getting these favorites out the way, my good friend.
My favorite part of the movie was just it was the balance. It was the balance for me. Like, you know, typically they try and say, we just so funny. There's so many explosions. No, this movie was super duper balanced. And I have to say that I'm not gonna say it's the best movie of all time. I've watched the Godfather series. I've watched a lot of things. I've done all these things. But I just want to say that it was just the most balanced movie I've ever seen.
I like
and it was great. Like it was a good movie. Like I laughed during the action scenes, like we're like oh ha 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 ha. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's where I was at. Like while watching the movie. And this movie was good, man. It was really good.
It was very balanced.
I just really enjoyed the movie. Like it was like you go to the circus, right? And you're expecting to just be entertained, right? I went to the circus and it was the best circus I've ever seen. and I think it's leading up to now. I don't know how they'll do this, but here's a guess, right? Call of Duty Boy versus Esperado. Not versus. Not even versus.
Maybe
Just
teaming up.
team
That could be good.
Let's not do Bad Boys 5.
I don't think they're gonna do that.
Because I was thinking about it the whole time. Like I was like, okay, are they trying to set this up? You know, and I thought about it. It was a thought. Is it a classic car thing? Is kind of 80-ish. I don't know. What do y'all think?
I mean, you talking about like a Bad Boys 5, but like up there.
No, it's Esperado. You know who I'm talking about. Dun, 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 dun. And then Reggie.
Oh, you want the sons and the son-in-law?
I felt like that's what they were trying to build to. You understand?
But they never met each other. That'd be interesting. No, they never met.
Yeah,
each other.
I don't know if they're building to that, but it wouldn't surprise me if they. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I don't think that they're necessarily building up to it, but I think that it would be cool to imagine because we sent them off. But it's kind of hard to make that work because obviously Reggie works for the government, and one is like on America's Most Wanted list. So I don't know if they could do that, but you never know because the way they make movies now, that they'll come up with some type of storyline and make it work. But I don't think that they were necessarily hinting at that. I think that this was supposed to be closer to the end. I would be surprised if they gave us like another one because I think that there's just a lot happening. Like I just don't know if they're going to give us another one. And if they did, like, where would they take that? Because they are older. They acknowledge that they're older. You know, Mike's dealing with panic attacks because this is the first time he ever had anything serious to lose and stuff like. I I don't know. I don't think they're gonna do that.
They didn't touch on the anxiety part like
Well, they
heavy. Like
did.
they introduced it, but like, and they kind of touched on it
I
at the
mean, they did.
end.
Well,
I
Martin Lawrence
just
dealt with it
did
when he slapped him.
the
He dealt with
first
it
I
when he
part.
think
slapped
it
The
him.
was
first part, like I
it
thought
was
we was gonna
written
do that,
between the
right?
lines. Like I feel like those were one of those things that it's based off of how you view the movie because you see that he has a lot of trauma and he blames himself for what happened to their captain. And so that adds some of the depth. But then they also focus a lot on how he can't lose the woman that he just married and stuff. And so someone even says that I think in the movie at one point that he has something to lose now. So that plays into the anxiety as well. And then he's also trying to get his son out of prison and stuff. And so that's another aspect of things. I think he is realizing that he's not
It was two
invincible.
times,
And
right?
so
It was two times,
he
right, in the actual show. Like they said, "Hey, you have anxiety," and
no,
then
they
it was
say it
the
a lot.
second
Like
time.
they offer him therapy. So like he's at some place and two people are like, "Let me know if you need contact to a therapist." Like, let me know if you need to contact to a therapist and stuff. So yeah, they say it in this scene. They're the white guy, which I think is hilarious, and I'm glad that they
Yep.
brought him and Vanessa Hudgens back. They
Yeah,
say it in this
Fan service.
because yeah,
yeah.
on the left, I really enjoyed them, and I thought that he's a good comic relief as well. He's a funny character, so I enjoyed him. But yeah, they mention it multiple times that he has anxiety, but Will Smith's character, Mike Lowry, refuses to admit that he's having panic or accept that he's having panic attacks. And I think it isn't until like Marcus says what he says and slaps the shit out of him a couple times and is like, fuck all
That was
this
a funny
all
part.
this and all of this bullshit. Like shitty things happen and you gotta keep pushing it like we bad boys for life type shit. So yeah.
One thing I did like about this movie is I touched on it in my 12-minute non-spoiler / spoiler review. I touched on this because I want to just go in
What is a
general.
non-spoiler
Do it.
spoiler review?
The first half is non-spoiler, then the second half is spoiler, and I got it like timestamp so you can see at the
Gotcha.
bottom it say non-spoiler. But they kind of switch characters during that growth process. Marcus becomes less worried about life. I cannot die. That's his
cannot
whole
die.
thing. I cannot die. Even what Will Smith pulls a gun in his face and he said, "Well, if I shoot you, won't gonna die?" He said, "Fate tells you you won't shoot me. It won't happen. You ain't gonna do it. So I ain't even worried about it. You're not gonna pull a trigger on me right here. I won't die." Which goes into the end of the movie, by the way. And then Will Smith is the character that's worried about things now. That's a complete switch from the other movies. But it's in a way that they both grow from the character they were. Now, Martin, I don't know if y'all caught it. Martin even did the scene when Will Smith jump over the thing and start shooting both ways. That's Mike Lowry. That's Mike Lowry's thing. He does that in almost every movie. He jumps behind the counter and shoots. Mike Lowry was scared to do that. Marcus did. And like it's a unique way they grew into doing both characters. And then they came back to kind of a middle ground toward the end when Mike Lowry he saw his girl in trouble and she couldn't take the shot. But then all of a sudden he like, you it's not your fault. When the captain said it's not your fault, he kind of woke up, got slapped up. He's like, okay, I'm back to kind of normal, but I'm still balanced. I got a family now. I got a wife, which I never had in all these years. I'm not the bachelor and trying to sleep with everybody. I'm more balanced. And Marcus came back to life when the alligator bit him. That's when he came back.
Let me tell you, when I saw that scene, I was like, "Don't be stupid." As a Floridian, I'm like, he may die. I'm like, you playing with this? Don't play with this alligator.
Can we ask you
Can
this?
you ask me
is that
what?
a real alligator? Like, is that a real alligator farm down there in Florida?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised either. Like, I'm just asking, is that a thing? Is that a legend? Is there an albino alligator that is just running around?
That is a legend.
Like South Florida. It's a legend. I mean, I played Red Dead Redemption too, so you gotta understand.
That's crazy.
I know that
but I do need people to stop thinking that we walk outside and we have to like wrangle alligators. The average person that lives in Florida has never even seen a gator outside of at a zoo.
Somebody threw an alligator at my pond one time. That wasn't good.
But I'm saying, like, we
had a pond outside. Some dude threw a baby alligator.
I believe that's why they put the actual Wikipedia page on the screen so you could look it up for yourself. So, like
But
in the shot
there's
when the
a
guy
little.
is researching it, they pull up the Wikipedia page for that abandoned place in South Florida.
Hold on, I have two screens. I need
Well,
to.
why he do his research? Let me think. I like I said, I really think this was. I think it was just a really, really good movie. I think it surprised me just how much I actually enjoyed it. I didn't have amazing expectations for Bad Boys 4, just to be honest. Like I thought it would just be like okay movie. And it'd be like this blew me out the park. Just so much the fan service was on point, the jokes was on point, the nods to earlier parts in other movies was on point. Even random spots where they decided to do redneck singing for like it was good. All of the stuff just hit. For what
Purebred white boy.
it just hit. Like
That
the
shirt was
Reba,
hilarious.
yo,
I was
Reba hit
surprised.
the Bad Boy song. I was like, that's dope. They got Reba
I
to
was
do the Bad Boy
surprised
song.
that this hit. Like I really was surprised. I think this is like to me, you know, I think they got a hit. Now, as far as the Bad Boys 5, the only way I could see them doing something like that probably would be like, doing like Reggie or the Son or some other kind of stuff, like all four of them working together, some of that. But to me, I don't think they should. I think we just ended off with this. Like
That's a good ending.
I think you done hit all the old nods, all the old moments. Both of them married. I think you just be good with this. You can leave it at this point or whatever. If you want to do a spinoff, fine. You can do a spinoff maybe with the Son or some stuff like that, whatever case may be. Because the only other way I see you doing another movie is like early. Like you'd have to do a movie based off of like their origins or like their early time. And because they're so old, you're gonna be like dialing back the clock with a lot of editing and stuff like that to make them look younger and stuff. So I really don't want to do that. I just leave it where it is. I think they got a hit. I really do. I think this flat out they got a hit with this one. Any final any final thoughts with the Bad Boys series? Any final thoughts with your points, your favorite parts of the movie, or anything else, or any other scenes that you enjoy? Unico, you can be up first.
Just one thing. Everybody's like, is it against the Bad Boys 1? Because Bad Boys 1 was good. I mean, when I say it's good, it was a fun movie, right? It's like Friday, right? The hood classic, Friday.
Is Bad Boys a classic?
Huh?
I do believe that Bad Boys is a classic.
Yeah.
It's rare that when you do like a one gotta go online and Bad Boys is in there, that Bad Boys gets put out. But I also believe that it's one of those movies that it worked for when it came out, and because you loved it, then you'll still watch it and stuff like that. Kind of like Friday, like not everything still hits the same, but it's still a solid movie. I think that they did a really good job on this movie. It's definitely better than the last one. It's up there with the first two for me. I'm debating on if I feel like it was better. I feel like in terms of action, it was better. Plot line, I don't know if I feel like it was better than the second one, but I did appreciate it. Just like you said, I didn't have negative thoughts about it, but I didn't have like super high hopes. It was kind of like how I went into Matrix 4, which they did the opposite and completely disappointed me and made me really mad.
Oh
It
boy.
made me really fucking mad as
Matrix
a
4.
Matrix stand. That shit really pissed me off.
Woo!
I've only walked out of the movie theater that mad one other time, and that was for free. Two times. Lion King, because as much as I love Beyonce, that was not it, and they didn't do Be
Girl, that was
Prepared,
good.
and
Well,
so
you're
that
not gonna
made
want to
me
see
You
me
talked
talk
about
shit
two
on
movies
you.
that I actually liked.
You don't
no,
want
they
to
didn't do Be Prepared, so it was already a wash after that. And then also Love and Thunder. Love and Thunder should not have been made. It
I
was
did
just a
not hate
waste.
that movie, and I don't think it's
Why did
amazing.
I hate
I
it?
don't think it's amazing. It's
No,
not amazing,
I disliked
Love and Thunder
most
was,
of it.
Love and Thunder was.
but
It was not it. But this movie was solid. I could see myself watching it again. I loved the fan service. So just as someone that grew up with Bad Boys, it could stay in the collection. Like if I still bought DVDs like or Blu-rays, I would pick this one up or and watch it when it comes on TV and stuff like that. There wasn't much in here that I feel like it needed to make it a better movie. Because you kind of got everything. You got the nostalgic characters. Like you said, it referenced a lot of major plot points from different movies. And it got back to the good old, like, the whole equation, like the original way that they did Bad Boys 1 and 2. So I think that, like, if I had, like, it was a solid, good movie. There's
All right.
Not
So
much else you can say about it.
to round it off, finally for Bad Boys, you're gonna give your score 1 to 10. What do you rate the movie? You Nico Williams, you on top. You're up first. We're gonna make sure the gift is from a damn
You
screen.
on top.
Because there's
Bad Boys 4, Ride or Die, 1 to 10. What you rate?
thanks for letting me go first because there's a very real chance that all my lights will go out at any point. I gotta give it a 9. I mean, I don't want to say it's because I have different critiques, right? Of how I look at movies and how I do things. Like, I feel like how this was done was a 10. The balance. Thanos doing it was the balance was perfect. That's what I thought the whole time, right? Yeah, did I like Page Master a whole lot? I definitely did. Did I like James and the Giant Peach at some point? It was the greatest movie I've ever seen. Yeah, I loved Aladdin. I love Lion King, both of them. The live action one too.
Trash.
I can't wait to see Mufasa coming out December 20th.
Now I will check out Mufasa, but
we do want the backstory of Mufasa. We do want
that. I'm gonna watch Mufasa.
I didn't know I wanted it, but when they introduced the idea, I was like, yeah,
I'm down for that. Yeah,
December 20th. But I'm giving it a 9. Because I don't want anybody to get super mad at me for giving it a 10. But I just think that it just was so different from everything they've already done. And they did better. It depends on if you're Mike Lowry or I didn't care. Like we got Fat Martin, right? Like I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Like Martin Lawrence is Martin Lawrence, man. Like he sells out skating arenas. You feel me? But we still love him. We know Martin. We love him. He literally did something at the Pepsi Coliseum in Indianapolis. It's an ice rink. Cool. I get it. But he carried this movie. I never thought I would say that with him being next to Will Smith, but he carried this movie. This movie was good. I really liked it. I'm giving it a 9. I'm done.
And we got 1-9. I've been sitting here struggling.
I really wanted to give it a 10, but
I've been sitting here struggling, trying not to give this movie a 10 out of 10.
I'm struggling. I
have failed. I give this movie a 10 out of 10. I'm not even gonna hold it.
It's a good movie.
I think this movie is great. I'm sorry. I have not laughed at Martin Lawrence like this, in like movie settings in years. And not saying that Martin Lawrence is a bad actor or anything, especially in Bad Boys, everything hit. Whether especially if you are like the fans of the previous movies. I'm sorry, you seeing Reggie take out 15 people, it's gonna shoot off no matter what you look at. Like when I went to the movie theater, we actually had applause at parts of the movie. Like people were clapping. Like this movie was good.
Like Avengers level applause.
Not that level, but like people were clapping. Like we actually had like a round of applause. So I'm sorry. Like to me, the movie's a 10 out of 10. Like it's a surprising 10 because it was just good. Like I didn't have a real negative to say about the movie. Like the worst negative I could say, some of the CGI and Martin Lawrence having out of body experience, and then Ebony said, as the movie went on, and he kept referencing it. It's like, oh well, it made sense why they did that. He's like, oh, he's talking about I was knee deep swimming in the ocean on the other side. I saw the beginning of time. Like he's sitting here referencing it, so it wasn't just we did it for craps and giggles. No, we did it so he can reference stuff for 2 hours.
Monray, can I ask you this? Are you happy about the fact that Martin Lawrence's wife didn't yell the whole time? Because that's like pretty much she's typecast as the yelling black lady.
I did think it was weird that they changed her because she wasn't the wife in the original movies. So I thought that it was interesting that we went to Tasha, how I see her as Tasha, and then what's funny is like her husband's name is Marcus, and in all the Tyler Perry movies, her name is Marcus. So she's typically yelling, "All right, Marcus!" Within I love you, Marcus. I was like, I feel like they did that intentionally. But if you recall, Bad Boys, if I remember, this movie was done on Tyler Perry's production set, wasn't it? Because
Oh,
wasn't
yeah,
I feel like when they were first filming it, it was all on the same thing. I could be wrong, but I thought it was. But I thought that was funny, and I wasn't sure if that was deliberate to be like when she says it, like "I love you, Marcus." Like I wasn't sure if she was doing that deliberately to play up how we know her, but
I don't have.
it was good.
I really just
It was
can't really
good.
point out a negative aspect about the movie. I enjoyed it from the beginning to end. I was pleasantly surprised by a lot of surprise they threw in the movie. Shoot, when Martin slapped the mess out of Will, I was like, okay, going deep one. Man, he slapped the mess out of him. I'm like, bro, I don't need that right now. We getting shot at. Bring the mean one out, and then I'm like, bro, he's like, and he kept slapping. I'm like, bro, this is what like just is serious enough to where you're invested in the plot. But then it's funny enough at points to get you to be like, okay, take a chill pill. Like, we serious. Martin Lawrence has a heart attack at the beginning of the movie. This is after he went and snuck a hot dog when they're on the way to go somewhere. He told this man not to get no dang Skittles. Like, I'm sorry. the slow-mo moment in the little club museum area where Martin is sitting there trying to flick jelly beans into his mouth and drink out of the juice. I'm sorry. The stuff hit.
That was God. That was God.
I was just
right
like, bro,
there.
like,
that was God.
Works. So I'm just,
nobody likes the black jelly bean.
If I gotta edit something,
nobody likes the black jelly bean.
I'm like, to me,
no, that whole scene, he was just putting his mouth on anything. It was hilarious.
I'm like, I'm sorry, bro.
Hilarious.
The movie hit for me. It hit. Like if I'm gonna be critical with 9.5, that's a 10. The movie hit. The movie, I think they got a summer
I was scared to
blockbuster.
say 10. You, Monterey, you
up until we see Deadpool and Wolverine in about a month and a half. Up until then, I think this movie gonna kill. I think it's good all the way around.
Agreed.
They'll make
you. My past life, you was a fish.
Bro, we have quotable moments where he's sitting there like, bro, you was a donkey.
Hey, who was you?
And I kept beating on you.
Like, that shit was hilarious.
He said, "You gonna come back? He gonna come back as Sanders? I'm gonna step in shit."
No, Zelma, who was you?
He ain't gonna win the socks.
Answer the question. If you gonna call my boy Monterey a fish, who was you?
You were the fish. You were rain.
So who was you?
Flopping in the rain.
You was who?
I said Monterey was flopping in the rain.
Bro,
but who was you?
No, he was my fish. I'm Martin.
If I'm the fish, that means you the algae because we're soulmates, bro. We always a part of each other, man. You're not gonna sit there and tell me that ain't funny. I'm sorry.
No, listen, I enjoyed it. I give it.
My nigga reached for that one. The algae, that was a reach.
No, I got it. I thought it worked.
Listen,
but it does.
I gotta give it a 9. Shout out to 9. Y'all know I grade hard, so I can't just give thing 10 S's, but it's a 9. That means it's really good to me if it's a 9. Yeah. So this movie was amazing. I loved it. I enjoyed it. All the throwbacks, and the fact that we can laugh at throwbacks instead of being like, "Yo, I didn't like that part," was amazing. And shout out to Power 2. They had a hit this week too.
Man, that was a good first step.
Black people winning this week, dog. Black people winning.
Hey, clap that up.
Assassin's Creed gonna hit.
I got one.
To that man on Kick who said he don't like the blacks.
All right, somebody comment.
Not the blacks.
That man said this why I don't. That man said this why I don't stay.
2 9s and a 10. Miss Ebony Moonbeam, your score.
It was a scary.
All right. So
she finna ruin it.
I don't.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah. So I don't give 10s like that, like at all, like that.
Infinity War.
9s. Well, yeah, okay. But like I said, that's been how long now? But 9s are tough for me as well. I'm somewhere between like an 8.5 and a 9, and I'm gonna tell you why. Though I loved almost everything about that movie, when I left, I was just like, yeah, that was a good movie. I didn't go, oh, that was the best movie I'd ever seen, or this gonna be the top movie of the year, or any of those things. Like I said, I was really put off originally, and I think some of that is because I just disliked the last movie so much that I didn't have like a connection as much to his son. So because of that, that and the guy and McGrath, I didn't have this. I didn't have the full connection as much, so that kind of fell a little flat for me. And I also didn't. The one thing that I didn't like was, and I just had it, and then I looked at you, said at 875. What was it? Damn, there was something specific that I was like, God damn it!
We
You really
lost
threw me
him.
off there. What was it? It was something specific too, where I was just like, oh, that's what it was. I don't like movies that I can predict. Well, like I can say okay, I like them, but I do have to take something away from that. And like the mole in the bureau or in the police force or whatever, like I called that. I knew who it was
Oh yeah.
instantly.
Oh
And
yeah.
then when it was revealed, and I was like, all right. So I think that's why I would probably put it down one. But I'm not gonna give it an 8.75. I am gonna give it a 9 because I did thoroughly enjoy it and I would watch it again. And like to where I would actually physically go see it again because I thought it was hilarious. And honestly, they won me over just with the fan service alone. The fan service alone, just like Unico said, Martin Lawrence really carried that. If he wasn't as funny as he was in this movie, it would have just been like your typical bad boy movie. So I thought that it turned it up a notch. And I like the nuance between the characters kind of switching roles, which happens when you're around someone for so long. You start picking up traits of theirs and stuff like that. So I really like that. So I'm going to give it a 9.
And with that, that gives an average score from this show of a 9.25. That is a dang good movie. That lets you
It's a
know
good
right
movie.
That's a dang good movie.
But yes, absolutely.
Especially to not be the first movie, because sequels typically do not do well, let alone a fourth in a franchise.
You ain't lying. We got the Fast and the Furious to know about how that goes.
I don't even know what be happening in Fast and Furious half time. I just be watching. I thought John Cena catch a truck, and I was like, okay, on side of another truck, and I'm like, okay, so this man can catch a truck that's falling on side of another truck and hold it up in his hand while this truck is sliding on the road. I'm like, this dude, is this God?
No, like
or just like with movies like that, they will completely change the character. Like John Cena in the first movie, he was like this hard ass and he was ruthless, and you were like, you liked him because he was so badass. And then in the next movie, he didn't flip to like this cute, cuddly like uncle that he can fight, but now he's not ruthless. That he's like the comic relief and stuff, which I don't like when they do that with characters. They do that with Dwayne Johnson and a lot of things, but that's because he can't act. But I digress.
Vin Diesel seems in these movies to turn everybody into some hokey uncle.
It's all about family, but you know,
we family, so now you win.
It's all about